opportunity of attending the ESET 2 conference earlier in the year. And that was a very unique experience in regards to professional learning, because it wasn't that we were there looking at a specific book or, anything specific, but it was just teachers coming together to share what they've done in the classroom, to share, technology ideas, how we can be a leader in our school, and a lot of things like that. And I enjoyed that atmosphere. However, I would have liked it to have been more centered around science, because that's my love, and that's what, I feel like I would like a little bit better. But I went to the KSTA conference as well, and that was really, really powerful. I really liked being able to be with other science teachers, and we had a session on assessments and things like that. So it was personalized toward me, but it was a lot of other teachers from the state coming together, and so we were able to gain ideas off of one another. And I learned more from learning from others and hearing strategies that worked in somebody else's classroom, and then coming home and trying it, seeing what works for you and what doesn't, because it's not always what works for you is not going to work for me sometimes, and vice versa. So,
money not an object. There's no barriers. I would, I think if that was the case, if we truly had in the real world, money's always a barrier in all situations, even in education. But I would think that more of the opportunities in the summer to where someone could go to a 3-day conference. They receive the PD the PD credit for the first 2 days or 3 days of it. If it was longer, then there was stipends for those who are like, well, I'm giving them 2 days, because you find that in people, and they don't want to give away their time, and I totally understand that. So if the money barrier wasn't there, I think there would be more people taking advantage of summertime 3- and 4-day conferences, to where they would come back with a large amount of material and information and resources that would impact them, but as well as their schools, because then they could start to share that out with staff members and in content teams and those kind of things. It's something, and I serve as K-TIP several times in my career. I've served as K-TIP, and I can continue to do that. One of the things I always tell them is learning is a process. You are a lifetime learner when you go into education. It's not I received my bachelor's and now I've got my certificate, now I'm going to the classroom, I finished K-TIP, now I'm going to get my master's and I'm done. Because that's not the case. Maybe you do get your master's and you choose not to go on in terms of those degrees, but you are a lifelong learner every single day. There are days I walk in my classroom that I totally learn something, and I'll have those aha moments that I stop and say, oh my gosh, I prayed for the kids I taught the first year of school because they didn't get this. So, and I think it's those moments that teachers have to have, and they have to continue to have in order to teach in the 21st century. Professional learning for me enables me to have those moments, because when I did this book study, I just remember, and I think you will too, we were actually in this room sitting back here, and I was like, oh my gosh, I read chapter 3. We came back in, and Cherry Bull said, what is something that really caught you off guard? And I was like, I read chapter 3 and thought, oh my gosh, the first 3 years of teaching those poor kids. Because I was a dictator. I was like, today we've got to get this, and we've got to get this no matter how, we got to get this. We don't have time for you to play with it. We got to just get it. So I've taken that off the table now, to where I'm not coming in and being like, today we got to get it. That you don't get to touch it. We got to remember whatever we got to do to leave here. Definitely we're leaving here with the idea of we got it, but sometimes it takes longer. So when I made that comment, and then Cherry Boyles chimed in as well and said, I think all of us, I think anybody in education will say, whew, my first year teacher, or second year teacher, or third year teaching, I did an injustice because I didn't know what I know now. And I think that that's where that lifelong learner comes into play. And I think that's where you continue to grow. You continue to want to grow. Tomorrow I'm going to a professional learning opportunity in Lexington where we're going to analyze argumentative writing. And, and it's something, it's not a PD, it's not that I'm going to get PD hours for it or I'm getting paid for it, it's in the school day. But it's because I'm going to bring that back and I hope to give something to my kids. I hope to come back and be like, whoo, last year's argumentative, I had no idea I should have been looking for this. So, and I think that mindset has to start early on in somebody's career.
That's what I was going to say actually, was I wish we could take first year teachers and get them more in the mode of being excited to learn instead of, you said it, what am I going to get paid for it?
Right.
What is it going to do for me? Is it going to give me PD hours? Well, if not, I don't want to do it. That kind of thing. I wish we could try to, we do the same thing with our students. We try to find any way that we can motivate our students to do better. And I think teachers, are the same way. I think the book study was put out there for the whole district, and what we had 4 classroom teachers.
Yeah, and then 2 administrators.
So it's just like, what can we do to motivate, everybody else to want to do things too, so.